This is Order of Operations video part 2. In part 2, we're going to deal with evaluating expressions that have parentheses. We know from order of operations that the parentheses have to be evaluated first. So I would do the 12 plus 3 is 15, and I would do this parenthesis, 5 minus 2 is 3. Everything else in the problem is going to stay exactly what it was. 7 times 2 minus the 15 divided by 3 minus the 3 squared. In the first part, I suggested that we circle any pluses or minuses, just to remind ourselves that addition and subtraction is the last thing we will do. Subtracting those signs will help me separate this problem into little mini problems. We have the part in front, we have the part between the signs, and we have the part behind. Doing this will keep us from perhaps subtracting or adding before we're supposed to. Now in this, I've got 3 squared, which is an exponential expression that has to be done next. On this same line, because of the way I've separated this out from the plus and minus, I can do 15 divided by 3 is 5, and 7 times 2 is 14. Now we're down to simple arithmetic because it's all subtraction. 14 minus 5 is 9, 9 minus 9 is 0. Let's look at another one. Parentheses right here, I've got to start there. 10 minus 8 is 2, squared. Everything else in the problem just gets written down again. I know sometimes students don't want to rewrite the problem, but it really is the safest way to do the problem. I have gotten rid of the parentheses. I can circle this plus right here to help separate things out, to remind myself I'm not going to add till the very end. Exponential expression, 2 squared is 4. In this part before the plus sign, this is all multiplying and dividing, which needs to be done in order from left to right. So 15 divided by 3 is 5 times 2. There's that plus sign I've circled, which reminds me that that multiplication has to be done before I would ever think about adding. 10 plus 4 is 14. Parentheses right there, 6 plus 4 is 10. Rewrite the rest of the problem. 48 minus. Now that 2 in front of the parentheses means 2 times. Put a dot there to remind you of that. Also, once we've gotten rid of the parentheses, if we circle the minus, we have separated out our problem. A common mistake without circling the minus is to think this is 48 minus 2 and then take that value times 10. You need to do the multiplying and to do these exponential expressions before you add or subtract. Keep that in mind. The last thing you're going to do, unless it's in parentheses, is add or subtract. So 4 squared is 16. That's an exponential expression. 2 times 10 is 20. And there's a 48 in front. We're down to all subtracting. 48 minus 20 is 28. 28 minus 16 is 12. Alrighty, another one. A little bit longer. 2 sets of parentheses. Evaluate those first. A 9 for the 4 plus 5, a 3 for the 2 plus 1, and everything else stays the same, gets rewritten with the same signs and the same operations, same order. Parentheses are gone, which says I can circle any pluses or minuses. There's only one plus. That reminds me that I'm not going to add till the very end. It also tells me that this string needs to be evaluated before I would think about doing any adding. In that string, there's an exponential expression. I need to do that first. 36 divided by 9 times 2. Staying with this little group in front of the plus, now it's all multiplying and dividing. So that needs to be done in order from left to right. 36 divided by 9 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So this plus sign just keeps coming on down. Now working behind the plus sign, that's a division problem. 18 divided by 3 is 6. So that plus 6 can just keep coming down to the end where I can finally add it to 8 and get 14. Sometimes you have problems where you have what's called nested parentheses. You have the curved parentheses and the square bracket. To evaluate these, you want to start on the inside. So 4 plus 3 is 7. Rewrite the problem with the 2 and the square brackets. 25 minus 3. That 3 was in front of parentheses, which means multiply. Now remember, those brackets are like parentheses. We need to do what's inside there, but inside there we have a multiplication right there that has to be done before we subtract. Still in the brackets here, still with the 2 in front. 25 minus 21 is 4. The 2 in front means times, and we get 8 for our answer. 3 sets of parentheses here. Work from the inside out. 4 plus 2 is 6, with the rest of the problem being rewritten again. 16 plus 2 with what I call the squiggly parentheses. 40 minus square brackets. 13 minus 6. The curved parentheses are gone. There's no reason to write them, but there is a square bracket left and a squiggly left. Now inside here, it's the square that needs to be done, with the rest of this staying the same, just rewritten in that same order. 40 minus, inside those brackets, 13 minus 6 is 7. The brackets are gone, but I still have the squiggly back here. Inside here is 33. We have a 16 plus a 2 times a 33. I could think about circling that plus to remind me that I'm not going to do 16 plus 2. I have to do the multiplication first. 66 with a 16 plus in front of that gives us an answer of 82.